Well, all right, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. I have been requested to make a video. Somebody put a donation on PayPal and they asked me to explain how they think Orcs and Goblins are doing in the tournament meta. And I told them I don't do a lot of tournaments, but I guess he would rather hear it from me rather than anybody else. So I got on this create a single use tier list thing. And so we're making a video today. And let's get started just right away because this video can take a long time to make. So we'll get rid of Akachan immediately along with the Space Pope, and we'll go to making myself smaller. I've already started with one unit that I'm just going to put in B tier, and this is because of the Orc Shaman himself and everything like that. So for 97 points, you can get 17 Arrow Boys to just be a bunker for your Orc Shaman, and he will have +3 to cast with the buff spells. And I think that the Orc Arrow Boys are perfect for that. If something gets behind you, like fast cavalry or something like that, you might be able to shoot them if you're in skirmish formation. You might just run these guys in a brick with full command. I mean, even with full command, that's barely 102, but keeping it under 90 at 17, putting your shaman in there with the lore familiar, and making sure that he's just kind of in proximity to cast Evil Sun Shining every single turn, which is a spell that you're almost guaranteed to get off with a +3. That's very powerful. So you'll be re-rolling ones with what do you call it? An additional point of armor penetration for everything within his command range. That's with everything within 8 inches. That's actually really good. So keeping the Arrow Boys behind everything, I think that that's really good. And let's see here. Let's continue down with core. Goblins, I just don't see them. I just don't see the regular goblins at all. And there's a reason for this and everything. So with the goblins, even though they have the parry special rule, you are getting a guy with a thrusting spear for 4 points. And are they? Oh, they are coming with the shields, but you're also paying. Let's see, is it a point for the light armor? Oh, those are night goblins. I go over here. Yeah, the thrusting spear is a point, and you can bring the light armor for an additional point. So you got a 5-point dude. Uh, Not really that good when you got Orc Boys. Orc Boys do the same job for an additional point. If they were getting the light armor for free, and you were literally 4 points a guy at best, not 5, I'd say do it. But even with the nasty skulkers, which is a unit I forgot to put up here, there's really no need to add. I guess I could uh, add the nasty skulker in there, but it's just even with them, you've got Orc Boys, and Orc Boys do the job very well. And so, now let's just speaking of Orc Boys, it you have so many combinations of how you can run them. We're just gonna put Savages down in C. Savages took a hit with Frenzy not being one additional attack until you lose a round of combat. It's only an additional attack when you charge. And let's just face it, that hurts them. That hurts them really bad. You've got an option to go immune to psychology though. I mean, if I were to go into Army Builder here and just pull out a unit of boys, you replace light armor with frenzy, so I guess there's no reason not to give them the war paint. So there's that. There is that. So that's savages. Not having that extra attack really hurts them. At this point, with parry being what it is, you just take your standard orc boy. Where are the orc boys? Orc boys. They're gonna go right there. You're gonna take your standard orc boy, and we're gonna put him in. We're gonna put him at the top. We're gonna put orc boys at the top of B for now. Okay, cool. All right. So that being said, this covers almost all the core units except for where are they at? Do we see them? There's the Night Goblins. We're just going to go ahead and put Night Goblins in A. Night Goblins, 30 of them with 3 fanatics. Especially having the nets nowadays, that's a thing. The nets make the Night Goblins a thing, and there's there's 2 variations. I usually take the variation of Night Goblins where, you know, let's just get rid of this mob here. Move. There, Night Goblins. Musician. It sucks that you have to pay for bows. It really sucks that you have to pay for bows, but this is a 200-point unit. I like this a lot, especially for just playing Night Goblins in general, but it's still pretty darn good. All right, sorry about that. I could make display capture a little bigger. So yeah, Night Goblins, they're just A tier. They're also bringing with they're also bringing fanatics with them, and you do have to pay a character tax, but that's all overridden because Night Goblin Shamans are just invaluable. They're just invaluable. And I could do a characters tier next time, but I'm just going to do the units themselves. Because again, when you go characters or you go all mounted nomadic Wa, things just change so dramatically. So we're gonna put fanatics just right at the top of S tier. They're gambling machines, but they hurt. And you know, if you just roll, you know, you're banking on an 11 on 3d6 or sometimes 2d6. Or it's like I'll sacrifice 1 fanatic to dissuade you from charging, so you'll take a hit for going through me, and then I'll pop out the other side of you. I think there's a way to capitalize and get 2 hits with that one. Very specific combo, but I think there's a way to capitalize to get 2 hits out of your fanatic and then just end up out of there. So yeah, just when you bank on an average roll on 3d6, you know, you tend to win just a little bit if you're going for the average. 2d6 is a 7. I'm happy if I just get 6. On 3 of them, I'm happy if I get 9 to 11. I'm happy with just 8. We'll just say 8. Thank you, Mork and Gork. I get 8. Okay. So there's that. While we're on the subject of Night Goblins, you know, there's the cave squigs themselves, and you know, I'm gonna have to give these things a try again because Night Goblin Squig Herd, it's 5-1. The last time I ran these guys, I ran a unit of 18 for 152 points. That is something that's immune to psychology. The squigs can fight. Yeah, the squigs can fight at oh, that's the herder. The squigs can fight at weapon skill 4, strength 5, and I believe they've got the killing blow. Huge gobs, AP -1, armor bane. No, they don't have the killing blow. That's the bigger squigs. So yeah, you know, I don't know how good a bigger unit is going to be. Let's say you go up to 8 for 24. I don't think you need that many. For a 30-man unit, maybe I think you might want to do, let's see here. I mean, that's 258 points. You're already kind of pushing it right there. I tend to notice something about units of 30 seem to do really well. I don't know. They're also open order or skirmisher. I haven't tried these in little units of skirmishers, but again, you have to pay a Night Goblin tax to get them. And so for right now, let's just go back into that. We're gonna put them. That is really hard. Let's put them at the top of. Let's put them at the top of just above the arrow boys, almost at the top of B, because that's free immune to psychology. But I don't think that they're as versatile as the boys. Again, boy with a shield, 6 points. I think a biggin upgrade. Still 2 points. Okay. Again, yeah, especially when you make them biggins and you only get one per every 1,000 for the core and everything. But yeah, when you make them biggins, again, they get slightly better. They get AP -1. Let's see. Oh, good thing I got my book right here. Oh, it's the +1 modifier and gains the armor bane special rule. I, to me, I wish it was just an additional AP -1. They didn't really do anything to merge the black orcs and the biggins. I think the black orcs and the biggins should just have AP -1 in their attacks. That just gets rid of an entire line of rules right there. But they also make use of the chopper rule, which is reroll natural ones in the first round that you charge with an additional armor pierce characteristic. So there's that. So boys, I think, are really strong right now, and you can get a lot of them really cheap. It sucks that you have to buy certain upgrades. Again, that really detracts from them, but it's it's not that bad, I think. Next up in core, where are those guys? I do not see them. We got Spider Riders. The problem I have is that I like Spider Riders. You just don't see them that much because unless people are doing something specific with Spider Boys and Forest Goblins, uh, they're too expensive. Just right out the door, they're way too expensive. Like if I could park them on if I can just run them right through terrain with no penalties, that would be nice, especially on the charge or something. But you just get the reroll. That's the thing with them. Let's see here, Goblin Spider Rider Horde, move through cover. What's that? Reroll any ones when making dangerous terrain tests. This shouldn't even be a thing. I think it's just one of those convoluted old world rules like, okay, you're in the forest. How about your movement is -1 when you're in the forest and it's just easier to remember. But the danger, you get to re-roll the dangerous terrain check. Mm. Like they should have their own what do you call it? Well, you can charge over the building. That is true, as long as you don't end up in it. But I just don't see it with everything they have costing a point. They do come with a shield, the cavalry spears. They go right up to 70. Musician, they go right up to 75, and they've also got the impetuous thing. So you got to bring a boss where it's like at this kind of investment, I'd rather just have the arrow boys because you're already pushing that. I mean, I just I don't see the spiders getting a lot of play. I like the spiders. I'm a huge collector of orcs and goblins. I got a crap ton of spiders over there. I wouldn't prefer. I would prefer the boss on a spider doing the same job, but way better by himself. Maybe just with the 5 as a delivery system, but then you're subject to panic, where it's way easier to hide the spider boss by himself. So they're just going to go right into C. Okay. What else is on the core list? The Snotlings. To tell you the truth, I like the Snotlings, and they're going to go up into S. The more I look at them, the Snotlings, they have a lot going for them right now. Let's see if we can just pull them up real quick. Snotling mob, boom. Okay. Thrown weapons. Move and fire, quick shot, multi-shot 2 per base. So if you've got 6 bases, you can just throw out a lot of shots right there. That's really good. I believe quick shot, moving and shooting, yep. And can stand and shoot regardless, so you get something to charge you. They're bringing Unbreakable, but the thing that I think makes them a sleeper hit, is the movement 5. The movement 5 is really good. The 6 wounds, I do think they're a little overpriced, but they're immune to psychology, unbreakable, vanguard for free, skirmishers, open order, just done. It's a done deal with these things. You've got a lot of good special rules here, and nobody uses them. People are probably going to start using them, but I like the Snotlings. The Snotlings, they have a lot of versatile actions as chaff, and you'll get a lot out of this unit, you know. And again, with Orcs and Goblins, everything is just a way of thinking, because I think they have they have way too big of a multitude of combinations that they can do to be successful. Okay, so let's see here. We're moving on. We're moving on from the Snotlings. Yeah, them being unbreakable and being able to get in the way, you know, they can hold something up and do damage. And if God, if only there was a way to make them poisonous. Next up for core in the Orcs and Goblins, what are they? I think there's one more core unit that I'm overlooking. Nope, I think we're kind of... Oh, here we go. Right here, we're going to go with Wolf Riders. Wolf Riders are going to sit up in A, simply because they're just good. End of story. For 55 points, they do a very specific job. I've always, even with the impetuous tests, I haven't had them really come into a situation where they have to take a test, because of the way that I move them. They're very rarely in a situation where they're not on the periphery. Where they're not on the periphery, like, okay, I've got these Wolf Riders over here, or they're not baiting a charge. Usually, you know, that's how I use them. And so it's like, even if they're impetuous, it hasn't mattered, because I'm using them to bait that charge. I mean, let's say they go first. Well, I'm not in a position to charge just yet, because maybe they only moved out 4 inches. So I get that movement to go out there, plop them down somewhere in the middle of the field, and they either have to magic missile these guys off the board, or shoot them off the board, because, you know, that's just their lot in life. When you have to use a high elf bolt thrower to shoot the goblin wolf riders, well, that's 2 or 3 more orc boys or black orcs that are going to live. That's an entire turn of shooting wasted to get rid of 55 points. I always put the musician on them, but it's the fact that they have the feigned flight. So you can bring like a hefty unit of 7 in the skirmish formation, run away, come back. Run away, come back. It's a little pricey with the feigned flight, but still infinitely better than the Spider Riders, which don't really have any of those special rules. So I do like the Wolf Riders. There's usually 2 units in my Night Goblins list always, you know, and plus once they get around the enemy flank and they go into the war machines, I've noticed that with the spears, they're very good at taking on the war machines. I just don't think they're going to take out the Cathay machines that have an ogre in the crew, which, by the way, is totally redonkulous in my opinion. I'm sure he has an attack profile, and I'm not going to look at that now. But there you go. You got the Wolf Riders there solidly in A. Next up, I guess we'll look at special units and whatnot. And the special unit that I like the most right now, they're the Boar Boys, and they're going in S. The Boar Boys work Boar Boy mobs. Okay, they've got the armor hide +1. They've got the Choppas rule, so you're combining Choppas with cavalry spears for a -2. Not to mention, if you've got that Evil Sun Shining spell off, and you can combine that with Bad Moon Rising, you have a unit that hits very hard. You make these guys Biggins. They've got the Armor Bane special rule. I say give the Biggins unit the Razor Standard, and give the normal Boar Boys unit the Banner of Butchery, so that they're Strength 5, because the Biggins are going to be Strength 5 on the charge with the Cavalry Spear. Or at least I believe so. And they're not that expensive, you know. We're just going to hurry up and boom, give them the heavy armor, give them the shields, give them the Biggins. We're going to go straight up to a big block of 10. That's 210 points. Oh, the Biggins do have the +1 to strength there. That's the thing. But the Cavalry Spear, we forgot to give them, so it goes up to 220. +1 to strength. Yeah, so they're strength 5 and they fight in an extra rank if they get charged. You know, I've never seen that come up, but just the fact that the Choppas combines with that, and then you'll have something that hits at -3, and then the big thing with them is the ignore goblin panic, and then furious charge, the additional attack that you get when you charge, plus the counter charge and the do they have first charge? They may not have first charge. However, you can pair those guys off with a Boar Chariot and get rid of those pesky rank bonuses. But, you know, I mean, Impetuous isn't really a problem with these guys because you might be running a character in there with the Warband special rule. So you'll have a leadership of 8 most of the time. A leadership above somewhere of 8 to 9 most of the time. And it's just a solid unit. If you want to spend a little bit extra, you know, you can deck this unit out any which way. But I really like that. Here, you're not putting a character in the unit. You got the thinking hat. There you go. You got the thinking hat. You don't even need to put an armor thing in there. You know, it's like, okay, that's done. And then you could put your character in the weaker unit. The big and Boar Boys at 245, they're gonna stand, and you're gonna get a lot of usage out of them. So you know, there you go. It's a super unit, especially if it's in nomadic. If it's in nomadic, it gets way better. They get the impact hits, and with a lot of mass infantry armies, the last thing you're going to want to see is a bunch of impact hits hitting you at an additional -2 to your armor save. So you're going from 4s to 6s most of the time. That's not going to end up well for you. Can a certain combination of Orc Boar Boys, Orc Chariots, and maybe the Orc Wyvern and break a unit of Graveguard? Maybe, but the conditions have to be right. Like you've got to get those impact hits to actually ring home. The problem is you're fighting against 2 sets of saves. Now you're going to be fighting against a 3+ armor save, and you're going to be fighting against a 5+ regeneration save. But if you can line that up on the flank and mute their attacks, well, you could move. Your entire army is now free to move around the big scary Graveguard unit too, because that unit is almost 500 points. And so when it's a good chunk of the army, when it's a quarter of the army, it becomes very easy to avoid. It's like, oh, I just have to kill that one unit, but you don't need to kill it. You can avoid it. So, yeah, I think you get for what this is right here at 245 points, you get a lot of good use out of them. There's D6 Wounds probably has way better combinations than I have, but they're going in A. They're going in A because the Boar Boys they do it with the armor. I would have ranked these guys higher, but they're going to go in B, the Savage Orc Boar Boys, because again, you don't have the +1 attack all the time for being frenzied. They would go right up in A because you bring up the first time out when I brought my nomadic Wa. That's a scary unit if they had the poison banner. Very scary. It's just boom. I'm rolling lots of 6s for poison, and I've got some choppa attacks, I've got some armor penetration, and I've got a lot of these guys. I've got like 16 of these guys in one unit, and they're a very scary unit to have to deal with in that capacity. A lot of combat res. This unit with the Wyvern brought down a Tomb King's Dragon in the old days. We beat it to death in combat res. It kept losing a wound, and I was just lucky that my orc, Wyvern was making saves, trading with him, and I wasn't getting stomped into oblivion either. So they're gonna go down in B because they lost that frenzied ability. But the the Boar Boys they're getting an S tier ranking from that. Now you've got your various types of trolls, and this is the problem with trolls. And You know, I like trolls. I think they're kind of back if people are going to be running infantry because now you're going to see a lot of generals on foot. You might see a lot of orc generals just on foot. I've been kicking around the idea of a bully boys list. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring a battle report to you very shortly on that. And a bully boys list just basically crap tons of infantry. You've got a big old unit of trolls, and your generals right next to that controlling their stupidity. And it's a black orc general at leadership 9. Not likely to fail. Not likely to fail. But there's a few things I got to tweak out about the bully boys list. Like again, I need different movement trays, and frontages and angles is something a good tournament guy has to watch out for constantly. So let's see here. Next up, we're gonna just put Boar chariots. They're gonna go into A. Again, I do think they're a little bit overpriced, but yeah, we'll just go with Boar chariots. I was gonna go with trolls, but let's see here. D6 plus 1 impact hits with AP minus 2 with the first charge. If you can line 2 of these into an infantry unit with a big old brick of Boar Boys, you know, you're gonna get your points worth out of them. You're gonna negate their ranks. You're gonna have some uses out of these. They also pair well with a counter punch. I had 2 of these in my Black Orc army, and I noticed that would pair well after the Black Orcs take the hit because reasons, you know, that's what they're there for. They're elite infantry. They take the hit, and then I either hit them in the flank with a chariot or I hit them just up front because there's still room to hit them. You hit them right there with the chariot. Now you've taken away their ranks of the second turn. You've killed a couple guys in their fighting in their fighting rank, and you've basically given yourself an advantage for one turn to gain the upper hand with combat resolution. You know, this has various combinations, but I don't think that they're down and out. I have yet to see a full orc chariot list, but people are swearing by the black orc chariots. I do have them down there, the black orc chariots in general, but there's at 90 points, that's not terrible. 180 for 2, it's not that bad. It isn't that bad. You know, I think you get a lot of use out of those out of that first charge rule when you combine it with stuff. And again, is it situational? Well, you've got the delivery systems with the Orcs and Goblins army to bring this army into combat on your turns. That's why the Wolf Riders are in A. So the Wolf Riders went out. Oh, hey, we're just going to sit here for a turn. Oh, look, we had to charge, and we charged a frenzy unit, and they didn't kill all of us, and so they have to chase us. You know, so there's that. But it's the fact that you have the delivery system. I prefer the chariots themselves as a counterpunch unit to helping out an elite infantry unit, and in that capacity, they're very good. Or supporting the Boar Boys unit on that turn, you do make the charge in Nomadic Wa. I think Nomadic Wa against the infantry lists that are coming out, probably standing pretty strong against especially if you're just like, I've got my bunker unit, Evil Sun shining again, Evil Sun shining again. It's +3 to cast. You know, I'm in a unit of 10 boys, and that's a self spell. And you know, you got your one wizard casting the self spell every single time at +3. And they're getting the magic resistance against that. The only thing they're getting the magic resistance against is the Bad Moon Rising, which I think they should have reworded that spell to just be in close combat. If you're in close combat, you can cast Bad Moon Rising. But you know, again, if you're running Nomadic Wa, I think the one detraction that they have, the one problem they have is that they do not have an orc shaman that can ride in a chariot. That would be a really good support character because in late game you can pick up points with him if he was riding a chariot. But other than that, yeah, they're gonna go in A. I like the Boar chariots. You know, I mean, if you're gonna bring them, bring two. They're cheaper chaos chariots. And again, if Evil Sun Shining's anywhere lurking around, they're going to do all right. You know, you're getting the -3. You're re-rolling the ones to hit and everything. That's pretty strong. So we're still in special units, aren't we? So we've got common trolls. I like common trolls, but I'm going to have to rank the, what do you call it? Let's see, we'll go over trolls. Troll. Let's go. Oh, it's the stone trolls. So what are the stone trolls bringing? The magic resistance 1. I think that's, you know, I think you're going to have these. I think a lot of people will just switch out for the stone trolls because that's a free magic resistance 1. So all of a sudden, fireball isn't going to do that much to them anymore. It's again harder to get things off, but you know, it's the points cost that that really throw me off with trolls. You know, I think it's BS that they have 49 points for a river troll and then 41 points for a common troll. Trolls are trolls. You know, something might rank above them, but like, okay, with the trolls themselves, let's just go with them. You can get a unit of these guys for 270 points, 6 of them with great weapons. And this unlocks you to bring a troll hag. You know, you can bring the troll hag once you have the standard troll tax. But you know, just if you're able to get these guys in on the combat, like let's say they're sitting next to the Black Orc General's boss, this is why they're situational. I might switch these guys. They're a little bit too situational with the trolls here. So these guys will go in B because they got the magic resistance 1. The common trolls, 270 points isn't a bad tax, and you don't have to buy all of that. You know, you can just buy 3 great weapons, and if you get shot, you take one off that doesn't have a great weapon. But 270 points isn't a bad tax to just park right next to your unit. And if they get in there and they're hitting on 3s rather than 4s, I find that debuff spell, Bad Moon Rising, is really good when you can get it off at +3. And if you have to, you can throw a power scroll out at that. If these guys are hitting on 3s, or God forbid you get somebody down to weapon skill 1 and you're hitting on 2s, they can be very deadly. But again, it's very situational. It's a combination thing that you've got to get off there. And then it's the river trolls. You know, the only thing the river trolls have, let's see, where are they at? There they are, river trolls, is they have an additional wound, which makes them harder to get rid of. You know, if I'm going to bring anything objectively, it's going to be the common trolls at 270. That's just you don't want to be pushing a big number above 300 unless you're taking 8 trolls, and then you might as well be taking common trolls. But a unit of 4 of these with the magic resistance, they're not a bad counterpunch unit, but you are getting, you know, magic resistance is kind of king right now. And again, you're going to have a lot of armies that are on foot, and you're going to need that blowback, that discouragement. You know, these guys can hit knights, and they might be able to kill the knights if you have a decent round of close combat. If you're not hitting on 5s, you know, if you're hitting on 4s. If I have to hit with 4s on trolls, my trolls tend to drop the ball. They just don't perform for me. If I hit on 3s, they start to perform and they'll pick up wounds. And at strength 7, with great weapons on the charge, they'll start to pick up wounds. So there is that. And then you're getting other combinations off that can be very salubrious for your Orc Boys themselves. Though, you know, there's the Itchy Nuisance spell, which lowers the toughness. Again, I think that works better for chariots, but yeah, this is where I'm ranking the trolls. The river trolls, if you want to bring river trolls, bring river trolls. The extra wound does go a long way in certain situations, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I think commons could rank just underneath. We can put commons right here. And that's why it's a tier list. Hey. All right. Next up for special, we have the Goblin Wolf Chariots. Now, this is really hard for me with these things. I might actually put them right here, right at the top of B tier, because I'm noticing that they can be very spammy. And when something can be very spammy, you can use them in a multitude of ways. Again, this goes into like nomadic wa and everything like that, but just 53 points for something to shoot up the side of the enemy lines on the periphery that moves 18 inches, that doesn't really have to look at anything. That's huge. And with the strength 5 coming off of those guys, you might be able to overwhelm a war machine, or the war machine isn't going to be tough enough to get rid of you, and you're just going to draw combat, kill a dude, draw combat, kill a dude. Again, that's very, very fast to get up there. And if there's two of them, that's 2 turns of you. Again, like I said, Orcs and Goblins have a lot of delivery uh, delivery avenues for their stuff. This is a delivery avenue. Now, I don't mind. Okay, so 3 of these is 164 points. I mean, in Nomadic Wall, that's really good. Just in general, against grassroots infantry, if you can get the side charge, that's not terrible. But again, you don't have any armor penetration. So if you're able to get these guys off and you have that Evil Sun Shining spell up, and they come in and deliver a charge, and the unit's just all of a sudden within 8 inches of command range of the shaman who has that up all the time. And again, this is kind of why those arrow boys ended up in B tier anyway. Just straight up boys with arrows, just beam behind the lines and everything. I think that's a pretty good way of just peeling off some extra wounds from a fighting rank. But I'm gonna say they're infinitely better than the squig than the cave squigs. Again, you do have the impetuous rule, but 164 points. You don't know what you're going to get into with these guys. I go back and forth. As a matter of fact, let's move these trolls up a little bit. And again, I'm looking for versatility on these guys. These guys, again, like if let's say you don't have the points for wolf riders, but you have the points for 2 chariots, you're just coming up a couple of points short. 2 of these out on the periphery, they're gonna be targets. That's like, here, you're choosing one of your cannons to shoot at the goblin chariot. And again, like I've said in some of my battle report things, especially in the Night Goblin one where I won that tournament, I was bringing the potential for like 7 cannon targets. I had my guy on a cave squig who was like the 7th cannon target if I had to run him by himself, if I ran into a gunline army. Again, if you run into the gun lines, the Orcs and Goblins are the best at running up against something like that because you're presenting too many targets. And I'm just going to rest my case with that one there. So, let's see here. What else we got? We got special. We're still in special. I like the pump wagons, but they're just too random. Let's see here. We'll look them up in here. Now, if you've got an extra 35 points, go with it. Now, this is what I like. I wish the Goblin Chariots had the armor. They had the Armor Bane 3 impact hits. They do have the immune to psychology. I wish they had the, what do you call it? Oh, they do have the throwing weapons as well. That also helps. You get 2 shots with each Snotling pump wagon. But again, you got random movement. I think it's 3d6, 2d6. why bring these when you can bring Squig Hoppers? You know, you do have the toughness 4 and the 3 wounds. Uh, you know, that is problematic for certain units. That's problematic for like people's light cavalry. Oh, look, I got you with my pump wagon. You Empire Pistoliers are no match for the pump wagon. You know, you're probably going to die because it's strength 4. There you go. With our, you know, but I wish the Goblin Chariots had these. But that's the pump wagon. All right. Anything else in special? Yes. Okay. So these guys are not going to be at the bottom of. They're going to go over here. They're going to go over here. They might even. They're going to stay here. They're going to stay here. As a matter of fact, we could put them at the bottom of A. We could put them at the bottom of A. I see a lot of people use these guys, and they're not bad. The Squig Hoppers themselves, again, requiring a Night Goblin tax, but again, that's another delivery system, another avenue. The Hoppers themselves, I prefer to run them with the Boss and the light armor. I don't really bother with, or the cavalry spears, you know, just, I don't know how I ran them the last time. I don't want to mud up my Night Goblin list, but you run them with a Boss, or you run them without. You run them in a unit of 6. I think you might give them the cavalry spears for 78. But these guys, though they've got a random movement, it's 3d6. They've got the huge gob. It's a strength 5, and this is their only close combat weapon. So it's a strength 5 AP1 armor bane weapon on the charge. That's it. I'm convinced of that. There's been a little bit of blowback, but when this is the only combat weapon that they've got for huge gob, that's basically it for the impact hits. So you've got the armor bane one, and they perform when they do hit. It's getting them to hit or not getting them magic missiled. A lot of people run a character in there with them, but they've performed okay in some of my battles, or they performed like in one game I got the absolute maximum of damage output that these guys are capable of, and it broke a whole unit of Skaven warriors. They didn't know what hit them. We came out the other side and we ate well on the hide of rats that day. So again, the Squigs being weapon skill 4, 2 attacks, AP -1 armor bane. That's really good. Immune to psychology. That's another unit that delivers right there in that regard. Like, okay, you killed 5 of them. There's still 2 of them left, and we don't panic. They're immune to psychology. That's big. And that's why I went kind of back and forth with the cave squigs. Immune to psychology is kind of huge. When you're running a low leadership army like Night Goblins, immune to psychology is something that you want to think about. Oh, well, I brought the giant because it's immune to psychology. So I think this is how I ran them in the tournament. Let's see here. I think I just gave them, I think it might have been unit of 6. I think they were 70. What did I put on them to make them 72 points? No, they had the cavalry spears. They might have just, yeah. So, you've also got the additional -1 when you've got the cavalry spear. If you want to give them light armor, you can, but it just starts getting expensive at that point. And, I mean, again, I wish you got certain things for free. I think these guys just having a light armor save wouldn't break the bank if they just gave it to you for free. But again, GW is stingy when it came to the greenskins, in my humble opinion, but you did get a lot of combinations off. So there's that. Let's see here. We're going to go back in here. We got these guys. We got them at the bottom of A. Again, I think they're a little bit too random to be in A. We might just go up through the travail here, the travailment. Let's finish off with special units here. Doom Divers. No brainer. They're going to go right in S. You bring 2 of them. That is the rule. You officially always bring 2 of them instead of the giant. I have a feeling that the Doom that the 2 Doom Divers that I got in that closet are going to be way better than my giant any given time, because the Doom Divers themselves, I believe, are just a way better stone thrower. Let's see here. Oh, they are rare. They're rare. They're rare. Yep. Counts as stone thrower, so you're dropping a 3-inch template that you get to adjust the trajectory for. And let's say you hit a unit and there's a character, a wizard in the front ranks, and you want to center the hole over him with your correction roll. You get a roll D3 to move the scatter. There you go. So that actually helps, because now I've just centered a strength 8 template on you, and you're going to be the one taking those heavy wounds. I think it's, what is it here? Stone thrower. Strength 8, AP minus 3, D3 plus 1 wounds. So you've got a very good shot at just killing a character outright. If you've got a war engine that you're shooting, let's say you're shooting at the Bell unit, chances are the hole's going to land on the Gray Seer, and the Gray Seer is going to be taking that, and you're going to have like 4 to 5 guys taking the AP minus 1, and that's this. Okay, so the way that I like these stone throwers is they're good at pressuring elite infantry from turn 1. From your turn 1, you're always going to have some shooting. You're just going to be like, okay, these are also a good form of chaff. They have to take these out. They have to shoot them. They have to do something about the Doom Divers, so it ramps up the pressure. It ramps up the pressure. If you have to spend a turn moving them into position, not a big deal. There you go. So ramping up the pressure with these things and just using the 3-inch blast to pressure your enemies from turn 1, that's not bad. That's not bad karma there, especially when you get to choose where that hole goes. It's provided you don't just lose them on turn 1. But Doom Divers, from what I've seen and, what I remember in the past, and, just the multitude of battle reports, better than the giant any given day of the week. And they will, and, and my rule with these Doom Divers would be pick one infantry unit that's across from you, and punish that unit. Just punish that unit. Don't worry about anything else. Pick one target and punish it. These things. The spear chukka. They are what they are. Have I figured out how to use these things yet? No. Have I ever used them? No. I've seen them used when they hit. You get to hit all the ranks. That is something. Let's see here. 45 points. I kind of disagree with the price. That's why they're going to D tier. I think 45 points is too expensive. However, I don't know. I think the what do you call it? The pump wagon ranks them. I think that yeah. However, at 45 points, I think 35 points is where these things should be at. At 35 points, you get 2 per choice, and you can bring up to 6 of them. And I haven't seen anybody take 6 of them. But one strategy you can use with these things, and again, I haven't seen this done, is that you get your bunker wizard to sit there next to him. And he's casting Evil Sun relentlessly. He's just throwing Evil Sun out there, and then you've got 6 of these things. And if the orc is your general, you've got 12-inch rank. You got a 12-inch bubble, and you're shooting a multitude of shots off at one unit. Just you're picking one unit all the time, and you'll have an extra armor pierce when you shoot that. But again, that's very expensive. It's very expensive, and it's a one-trick pony, because I think that after you do that, let's just do that real quick. And he's going to have the lore familiars to make sure that you get that spell. Boom. Wog magic. And we'll throw a couple power scrolls on him. I mean, that's 1,000 points right there, especially if you're going to park some chariots next to it, park a Boar Boys herd next to it. That's like 1,000 points of your army. Just too many. Ah, how many did I bring? Let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You only get 4. Well, that sucks. Not even worth it. There you go. I'm glad we went down that rabbit hole, and that's why the spear chuckers are down there in loser land. Let's see here. Is it 1 too many? Yep. You only get 4. That's gay. All right. Again, when you're an old player, you have common expectations, and that was one of them. You should be able to bring 6, and really punish the shit out of one unit. Is that your big old? Is that your big old brick of Chaos Warriors? Well, terror's coming, yeah, but that's way too expensive. So, kind of situational. If you have the extra 70 points and you want to pop those in, I'd rather pop in the Snotlings. That's just me. Okay. The Stone Thrower. Think he's gonna rank up there in A. Again, it's just we'll throw him above. We'll just throw him above. The Stone Thrower, it's a Stone Thrower. It's 75 points. That's not bad. 150 point war machine. Again, when you take these things, your goal with them is just to punish a single infantry unit, and I think that the Orc Stone Throwers themselves, yeah, 75 point rock lobber, Stone Thrower profile, 3-inch template. You know, you want to see your target, and again, you put those down. You have 2 of them. Run 2 if you don't quite have the points for the Doom Diver. If you don't quite have the points for the Doom Diver, you run 2 of those. Again, there's a huge myriad of ways that you can get those to work, but just lobbing stones. Yeah, I think that's just their entire job. So now let's see here. We got the last, but I saved the best for the last in special here. So Black Orcs. Either very, very bottom of S or top of A, either way. I think that the combination of the giant 23-man brick with the big red raggedy flag, the stubborn, the shields, the great weapons, really freaking good. Really, it's a 390 point unit that I usually run. Weapon skill 5, full plate, stubborn. If you want, you can make them veterans, but they ignore panic, so that is a thing there already. And I usually run them about this combination here, but you might want to find the points to give them more great weapons. And then you put a Black Orc or Orc standard bearer in there with the war banner, so that these guys will start at a static combat resolution of, let's see here. You got the big red raggedy flag, you got a banner. You got 2 ranks. You've got the battle standard. You've got the war banner. That's 6. You might even have the outnumber for 7. But 6 is probably going to be the average. 6 is probably going to be the average that these guys start out with. And so they might have their war banner and the battle standard bearer, but you still have the big red raggedy flag. Banners, of course, cancel. You have 3 ranks. It's all up to the Black Orcs to lift the weight of that afterwards. If something hits your Black Orcs and you were able to lower their weapon skill, you're probably going to win that combat. If you get the charge off with the Black Orcs, you do have the Furious Charge special rule, which just makes these guys even better, because now those great weapons are slamming to the front and you're attacking at I believe, initiative 6, because Black Orcs are initiative 3. Oh, you go from 0, you're going to initiative 3 with those, so go down to initiative 1. Oh, so you go to initiative 4 with great weapons, doy, which isn't bad. But the weapon skill 5, the Black Orc second rank, like if you get charged and you tank that charge, you'll have those great weapons in the rear end fighting. This is an expensive unit. I usually like it at about 390 points, but this is a tank of a unit. Tank of a unit. You'll be using your shields. You might take a few casualties, so that's why I didn't max out everything, but you might want to give it some more. You might want to raise it to 395 max. And you're putting your general in there or something, or let's see here. The problem is you got to pay the tax. Boom. Magic standard. Oh, hey, war banner. Got it. And then I always equip him with a shield, and I give him the Sword of Might. This is like an S tier BSB right here. He's not even 150 points. I've always used this composition. I think it's really good. So yeah, Black Orcs, they can pull their weight. Again, this will probably be your only big fight unit, but I did show off my Black Orc army a while ago. Maybe I'll link the video to the old Black Orc army. Of course, I wasn't the first person to do that, but the Black Orcs are going to earn their weight. Just a unit of 18 of them with all the weapons, 280 points. No matter what composition of Black Orcs you bring, I don't see them as attacks. I see them as being able to handle themselves very well and pick up a lot of slack. Again, the Quell Impetuosity. Yeah, you get those guys out, and you use your Wolf Riders to bait a charge out for your Black Orcs, so it's like, oh, here, we don't have Impetuous anymore. So you'll get what you need out of those guys, but even just running the 3 units of Black Orcs and shit like that, I mean, doing the whole Black Orc army, it's not bad, especially in, like, that you're going to get that static 3+ armor save for parry. You'll be maxing these guys out, but let me just do one more thing. Down to about 14, and it was mostly great weapons. I mean, that's a lot of tax that you have to pay, but still, the Black Orc army, I'd have to give it a try again. So, I'd say pound for pound, one of the best infantry units in the game, in the top 5 best infantry units in the game. In the top 5. Okay, I think we've gone on to rare Arachnarok. Too fucking expensive. Too fucking expensive for what you get. It sucks hard, in my opinion. It's cool on the tabletop, but at 310 points, it's just a big target, and you don't have any. The big gripe is that I wish it had. Okay, you would see a lot more of these things if. Let's just pull one up. Okay, it's 35 points to give it a silk lobber. It doesn't. It's got the behemoth special rule. It's got the D6 stomps, which is good. But the only reason this should be a premium on the points is that it should be one of the few monsters in the game that cannot be heroically killing blow. A duke cannot run up to this and heroically killing blow it. The other problem I have, it's got poison. It's got nothing for special rules in combat. I think it should have the chitinous legs or whatever, and it like slashes at you with its legs. This is all it's got. This is why it sucks right here. It has 0 armor pierceability with its normal attacks, and it only has 6 attacks. Maybe if it had 8 attacks at AP -1, and it has to use one of those attacks. You choose to make one of its attacks into Venom Surge. And that's the problem, is that that's the only. So one attack is going to be Venom Surge, and you're going to have 5 attacks at Weapon Skill 4. It is a Weapon Skill 4 monster. It's just the Necro Sphinx just tears this thing apart every single time in terms of like value. Now, if this thing couldn't be heroically killing blowed, and let's say it took one less wound from the cannon, like, oh, I took a wound from a cannon. Well, one of those wounds is automatically gone, the +1. So it's D3, sorry, there's, because they were just dead tough or something like that, you would see the Arachnarok. They do have the 8 crew members up there with poisoned attacks. It's not terrible. As a mount for the wizard, slightly better, but too expensive. Too expensive, and again, if it couldn't be killing blowed off the table, I like the Arachnarok. Like it a lot, but you can't always get what you want. Again, they want to have that differential. I think this is the duality of Games Workshop saying we have these models that we use in Age of Sigmar, but we also have these models that are used in Old World. Well, you could have made this really good, and then, people who have spider armies, you could have done something for them, but the Arachnarok spider's just in a bad place. I really wouldn't mind buying one more of these and painting it, but it's not on my to-do list because it sucks. And until you can make this thing good, which, all you have to do is just say it's immune to heroic killing blow, you'd see it pop up in some lists. And if it took one less wound from cannon fire, that would be cool too. And and here's the other beef I have with this, the Spider Silk Lobber. It's got a 5-inch blast, but it's only got that AP -1 for the center slot. Now, if I had a 5-inch blast and it was AP -1 all the way around, not bad. And if they could shoot it in close combat or something, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. But enough about the Arachnarok spider. Back here. We are going to the giant. And I'm going to throw him in D tier. Fuck this guy. Again, I've in my last tournament battle report, the thump with club and headbutt are just too similar. Like, oh wow, I brought down my club and I killed your champion. I think number 5 so number 5, thump with club, should be replaced with mighty kicks and punches, and he just gets his behemoth stomps. Basically, he does. He has D6 stomps. He does D6 +1 stomps to the unit. There you go. Random, but not so much like the number 1 result, because you're banking on the belly flop. You're not getting the belly flop. You're hoping for jump up and down. You're lucky if you get jump up and down. So if you could just have that number 5 be mighty kicks and stomps, where he just D6 +2 stomps the unit, so you're getting 3 no matter what at strength 6, no armor saves allowed, or AP -2, that's something. But he's just too random. And then you have the pickup, and on a 1 to 3, he just forgets what he's doing and no further attacks are made. On a 4+, the giant attempts to pick up another enemy. Okay? The victim is picked up, and it's all initiative based. Yeah, the pick up and grab. I mean, you could do this to somebody's character, but a lot of characters have high initiatives. So you should just get rid of that paragraph. Like, let's say he picks up a guy automatically. Okay, you can make number 5. I pick up a guy automatically. I throw him back into the unit, and he does D3 +2, strength 6 hits, no armor saves allowed. Just boom. There you go. Something like that. You get rid of the pickup and he just picks up a guy, throws it back into the unit so that you're doing some damage. He's just there. He literally is just there. And he pisses me off because he's just there, and in a Bully Boys list, yeah, you can make this guy happen. He's a piece of chaff at that point. But at 200 points, that chaos spawn and the balloons, like, come on, dude. How is a balloon better than a giant? The giant should be able to reach up there and grab the balloon and throw it on the goddamn ground. Now, if I had an attack like that, you know, I mean, the giant just isn't well thought of. And so I think if he was able to, just stomp again, mighty kicks, punches, and stomps, that would be better. D6 plus 2 stomps for number 5. And that's how you fix the giant, and you give him heavy armor, and maybe you drop his points by 10. You drop his points by 10 because, you do get an unbreakable, though. You do get an unbreakable. There is something to be said for unbreakable. You might 200 points for unbreakable, not that bad, but the Snotlings do it way better with more wounds for 3 bases. All right, we are coming to the last of the rare. Mangler Squig. All right, Mangler Squigs are 95 points. And you're just hoping for average. Now, their movement is random. There's a right way to move these guys around. You usually deploy these things on the periphery, or sometimes they're behind the army as a countermeasure. In my night goblins, I had the giant because I didn't have the doom divers, but I had these things wisping around, and again, they're just an expensive cannon target. They're an expensive cannon target, but they perform that capacity very well, because if you do get them into combat, you're getting D6, what is that? D6 impact hits, D6 attacks, D3 stomp attacks. They might go at the top of B. And these guys might go here. I can change my mind in any way. Well, we'll leave it like this. These things are necessary in a night goblin army, and they're not terrible. They're better than the giant on every metric because they do what they need to do, and they have the killing blow. Colossal Fang-filled Gob is AP -2, and it's got killing blow. So, you get these guys into some knights, you have a decent round of close combat, it's killing blow. And his impact hits are at -3. I even underlined that right there. So these guys are dangerous. They're not a huge threat, but again, at 95 points, you might bring 3 of them. You don't know. Again, this is something to take the heat off of your blobs of infantry. This is something to help you deliver, because this is a delivery method for the fanatic. Fanatic comes in clutch a lot of times, and the like it or not, the 9 fanatics in a list is still a thing. 9 fanatics in a list is still a thing. Okay. Last 2 rare units. The Troll Hag. Now, the Troll Hag has to, she can be a rare choice, but I think you have to pay the Troll Toll to get the Troll Hag. You gotta pay the Troll Toll to get in. Let's see, Troll Hag. Yeah, 0 to 1 for as many 1 common river or stone trolls. So you have to pay a troll tax to get the Troll Hag. Now, the Troll Hag is a better giant on every metric, so it's worth looking into. And this is the good thing about the Troll Hag. She can take magic items. And she has the template that the giant wishes that she had. She has the 5-inch on a 1 to 2. She's got the Smother, which is a 5-inch template at -2 at strength 6. Then she's got Mother, and and Mother just negates armor and regeneration saves. And on a 3. So this is like good character assassination. And usually, if I was going to set up to bring her, you give her the Sword of Striking, just in case she gets charged by something ethereal. You give her the Talisman of Protection. If this is in an army where it's either nomadic Wa or you're running a war boss on foot or something like that, and he doesn't need the Talisman of Protection because he's not on a Wyvern. You give the Talisman of Protection, so now you got a 5+ and a 5+ regen. You've got a 5+ armor save. You're -1 to be hit in close combat, but you're bringing the sword. You're bringing the battle magic. because, you know, why not? The first spell in battle magic is Hammer Hand. Okay, you can get that off as a level 1. You know, you just need a 6. You can get that off as a level 1. So there's that. I mean, barring there's no what do you call it, magic resistance. And then you know, this is something that you park next to your Lord's unit. And then the last one is Mither. Yeah, it's just better. So, and then it's got, at the end of combat, it can vomit on its enemy. Make an additional attack with this weapon. And it has a breath weapon, which I have yet to see used. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it's, so what is this? By itself now, it's sitting there. The Troll Hag is 280 points, and it's on every metric better than the Arachnarok. Granted, your weapon skill too, but with the Sword of Striking, you run into a pesky Banshee. You can charge the Banshee and kill it real quick if you have to, because you've got 3 attacks. You can just use 3 normal attacks. You know, so don't think that's going to be a problem, but that's how I would equip it. But you have to bring it. You got to pay the troll toll. So let's see here. Where do we put her? That's a detractor. We'll put her way up. We'll put her way above here. Boom. Troll Hag. Get yourself the Troll Hag right there. Last but not least, we have the Black Orc Chariots. And these are actually really good, but they only show up in Nomadic Wa. Put the great weapons on these things. You know, Black Orc Chariots. 2 crew. They've got the Furious Charge, so the 2 crew members will have 4 great weapon attacks. You've got the Ignore Panic. They can take a banner. Can be easily represented by replacing the... See, there you go. They're telling you to mod up a model by putting a Black Orc on there. I see 2 of these over the normal ones, and are they going to take over the boys' spot? Can I even move them up there? I could. But I also see these as a stronger choice than the Mangler Squig if you have access to them in the Nomadic Law. These 2 right here, they're just neck and neck. It's good cannon fodder, and you get a lot of usage out of them. But yeah, I would see them in A if you're running nomadic, because they're not bad. 134 points. If you want, they can take a banner, but the 3+ save, that's actually really good. First charge, Furious Charge. And the pigs themselves are going to have Tusker Charge. They're going to have impact hits. So you're going to get impact hits from your pigs. You're going to get D6 impact hits from the Chariot. You're going to have 4 great weapon attacks. That's if you can get 2 of those into a unit, that's a good little freight train to have right there. Okay, now we come to Badland Ogre Bulls. Okay, so let's do the giant. Let's do this giant. So we're going to rank this giant, the Bone Grinder Giant, at the top of C. I like the Bone Grinder Giant because it has the damage output, and it's got the 8 wounds. This thing, its only weakness is it's 300 points. It's 300 points. Now, I would see the Bone Grinder Giants themselves in an all goblins list. Like just garden variety goblins, not night goblins. I would see these guys in there rather than regular giants. Maybe you bring 600 points of, oh, you can only get one bone grinder. So you bring the bone grinder. He's a serious threat. If people got cannons and shooting, he's going to soak it up. And I think his drawback, by way of comparison to the trolls, is he's only toughness 6. This is again a good chance to have a monster that is again immune to hero killing blow and maybe takes one less wound from cannon fire or something. Like I said, you give orcs and goblins the two toughest monsters in the game because you're paying the most points for those monsters. But it actually has a table. The table doesn't suck. All right, so let's see here. So things smaller, you got crush underfoot. That's the 5-inch template, and it's AP -3. It's got the same stupid headbutt. Negates regeneration. Now this is actually something very interesting. The grinds its bones. So if you charge them, that means their fighting rank is too deep now. That means everybody in the fighting rank is taking an initiative test to not be scooped up and thrown into his mouth. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then he's going to get D6 +1 stomps on that. He's got the Unbreakable. He's got the Timber. Again, I think he could do the same thing for 290. Does he have? Only a light armor save, which is kind of BS, and a movement of 6. The fact that he's not faster, that's what sucks, in my opinion. And then there's the chance that you might roll a 1 and he might not be the best mercenary on the mercenary table there, and he might not show up. Like I had first and only time I ran infantries, I ran ogre bulls, and the ogre bulls didn't show up, and they didn't do anything. They never got into close combat because he got to choose where they showed up, I think. It's out there. The battle report with my ogre bulls is out there, and they sucked. They sucked hard. So let's see here with the ogre bulls themselves. Mercenaries. Badland ogre bulls. You bring a crusher. You bring a standard bearer. You bring a bellower. You might as well put the heavy armor on them because you have the choice. I don't think the regular bulls in Ogre Kingdoms have that choice. And then you put the iron fists on them. They get an extra attack, so they have 2 hand weapons. And then they have a 4+ armor save. Definitely going to stick around at 35 points a guy. That's not bad. I mean, and with parry, you get a 4+ save. It's worth taking a look at just on that metric alone. And you could get up to 400 points of ogre now. That's not a bad alternative to trolls, but I believe that the crusher. Oh, wait a minute, no. I have to look in there for that. They're just a flat leadership 7, and I don't think that they can use the general's leadership. Yeah, wait, back. Again, there's so many combinations and things I haven't done in this game. Very convoluted that way. Yeah, you don't get any of that. Now, I'd say this is just for what you spend here with the 4+, with the 3+ armor save ogre bulls. You, oh, hold on. It's a little more expensive than that. You gotta, there you go. You can give them great weapons, too. That makes them extra scary. 253 points. Not terrible. Definitely going to rank in some. They're going to rank in somewhere as an average fighter, however you want to use them. You're basically getting trolls without the stupidity. Trolls without the stupidity. You're getting trolls without the stupidity on that one, and that's just a different photo that I had. Anyway, this has gone way too long in my opinion, so that's the way I see it. Where do Orcs and Goblins rank overall right now? I'd say at the bottom of A, very top of B. They've I on this one metric, the Orcs and Goblin players are some of the most innovative people in the game, and it's just a matter of time before somebody figures out a new combination for them. Like I said, the bunker unit with the arrow boys and everything, that's probably going to become a thing where you're just paying a 100 point tax. You're basically paying a 100 point tax to put your wizard in a big old blob of boys to get the buff spells off constantly, to up your damage output, or to cast Bad Moon Rising on the opponent and make sure that you're lowering his weapon skill, because a dragon isn't going to do shit to you. And that is collective, by the way, Dragon's not going to do shit to you if you lower his toughness down to 3 and lower his weapon skill down to 3, which, I mean, there's still something to be said for having the shamans run the whole show. Again, what that composition is, I don't know. But orcs do have a... Let's see here. Let me go in here. I kept this one on my phone. Oh, did I not keep that? I could have sworn I did. Oh, there it is. I did not keep it on my phone, so I can't get into that. They do have a composition for them. They do have a really good composition where it's like you can bring a big, huge unit of boys, and you can put the 2 great weapon heroes in that, and you're going to be getting 2 to 4 kills from the great weapon heroes in that, and those great weapon heroes are literally only 59. They're 59 points apiece. And one of them could be for 84 points, he can be the battle standard bearer. And so a big unit of boys being the absolute anvil that you're just going to hold things on with 2 characters up front, and then you've got the wizard in his bunker behind there, making sure that they've always got that armor piercing to their and the reroll of 1s. That's actually pretty good. Do you do it with biggins? I don't know. You still have to see, the thing is, the giant orc unit and the giant unit of black orcs, they're kind of neck and neck because orc boys are so cheap. They're so cheap, and it's like, okay, well, I don't really need to invest in the black orcs because I can always throw in another 59 point hero. I'll have to do a different one maybe some other time, but like I said, this was a request for a fan, and he put a donation in there, so we made this video. The way I see it, yeah, very, very bottom of A. I think Chaos hold a mastery. I think right now Vampire Counts and the Grand Cafe Army they're just our lords up there in S tier because it's like double mortis engine still a thing. Then you come down, you've got Warriors of Chaos easily up there. Kind of drawing blanks right now because this is such a long video, but yeah, they're not. I'd say that they have the Orcs and Goblins, the player base out there, especially like they have the combinations to get what they want. But the thing that hurts them the most is that I don't think they have the monster mash composition. That's the one thing that hurts us the most is we don't have the monster mash that the Tomb Kings get to bring for 700 and some odd. It's like something stupid. It's like 760 points. You're getting a bone giant, necrosphinx, scorpion, wizard on a dragon, just base. So you got a lot of that. But let me know what you think. Did I do this video right? I hope you're happy with it. So yeah, again, there's still something to be said about the all-night goblin list with the 3 bricks of 30 with 3 fanatics each. That does do pretty well. I mean, it is a one-trick pony. You do have that. And I'll have to give my all-black orc army. Again, it would look something like this. Big unit, big unit, big unit. 3 Black Orc heroes, wizard. Have to do that, but yeah, let me know what you think. And in case you need to get in touch with me, you want to say something, hey, I did this wrong, maybe, what do you call it? Mangler Squig should be in D tier. Leave a comment or get in touch with me on Instagram. Instagram DMs are the best way to get in touch with me. And don't forget to leave a like on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm works as such. For every 8 likes I get, YouTube will allow me to keep 1 whole like. But if you tie that like to a comment, I get to keep the like. So there is that. And if you're watching me on Rumble, thank you. More to come on this, I'm sure. And we'll see you in the next one. Keep playing, keep fighting, and stay metal, my green-skinned friends.
I'm more of an expert at exposing the moon. Get out of here! Let's go! See if you find the one crater.